Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Monday, January 1st. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Akron game is in 243 days, the game against Michigan in 334 days. A very happy new year to you all. We're going to start the new year by taking a look back at the last Ohio State game of 2023, getting a little bit of a run through of some of the post-game comments that I thought were sort of the most interesting that you may not have gotten to hear after that game if you perhaps turned your TV off in disgust near the end of that game. We understand. There was some interesting stuff to come out of those post-game interviews, though, and we're going to be letting you hear some of that stuff right now. We're going to start with Ohio State head coach Ryan Day, evaluating the play of Lincoln Kienholz, the true freshman who got thrown into the game on very little notice when Devin Brown hurt his ankle.
Yeah, I feel like Lincoln got put in a tough spot there, to say the least. And I thought he battled his tail off, but clearly, we didn't help him up front. Didn't run the ball well enough, and freshman quarterback out there, for the first time playing, and we're not running the ball well enough up front. So it's hard to get much of an evaluation coming out of the game when you can't get any balance, and I felt like we could have helped them in certain areas. We didn't.
Next up, sometimes there are questions that get asked, and then you don't really get the answer to the question that was asked, and it's like, that's interesting. So here was the question. You played without Carson Hinzman that whole game. What happened there? The starting center for the whole season, then didn't play in the bowl game. Why was that? And then evaluate the play of the offensive line on the whole. So that was the question. Here's the answer.
Well, I felt more in the. Certainly there was some zero pressure that came, and they were aggressive on Link, but in the run game, I just felt like there were a couple of things that hit, but overall, when you have a young kid in there, you got to be able to run the football and take some pressure off, and we didn't do that well enough in order to win the game. The defense played plenty good enough. I thought they played their tails off and ran out of gas a little bit down the stretch, but to give up 14 points and 331 yards, is that what it was? Yeah, they played great and good enough to win. The defense did. We just couldn't put it together on offense, and so that's the story of the game.
The game plan was very obviously not to play Lincoln Kienholz in any sort of meaningful way, but then when Devin Brown suffered a high ankle sprain, well, you kind of had to, and if you had to play your true freshman quarterback who wasn't even for the spring, well, you would certainly not choose him to take his first snaps back up on his own 5-yard line, but that's how it worked out. So what was that like for Ryan Day?
When you're a freshman quarterback who comes in during the summer, you don't have the spring. You really don't have much of a preseason, and then you get thrown, into it with the scouts a little bit here and there. But when Kyle was in there and Devin was getting reps with the twos, Lincoln really didn't get many reps. So he did get some reps in bowl practice, but that's not like playing in a game. And I think his first few drives were inside the 10-yard line. That's a tough place to be. And what I didn't want to do was put him in a situation where he's going to turn the ball over and maybe see something that he's not used to seeing. And then all of a sudden, now we're really battling uphill. What I felt like we could do there is get into halftime, get it settled, and then try to get the ball towards midfield, which we did. Defense got us a stop, got us at midfield. We stalled and then missed the field goal. I felt like that was our chance to maybe jump on top a little bit, and then just couldn't quite get it going. But I give Lincoln credit. He got put in a tough spot and he battled out there and did make some good throws. But that was a tough ask right there, and we need to help more.
Obviously, that was a disappointing loss for Ohio State and its fans. What was Ryan Day's message to the team after the game?
I just told them that I thought a lot of guys played really hard in this game, and nobody wanted to lose this game. You saw guys fighting here and there. We got put in a tough spot, and we didn't respond well enough, and we didn't help the young kid at all, and that's why we lost the game. So it hurts to finish the season like this, with 2 losses, and that's not good enough at Ohio State, and we all know that.
After an 11-0 start, to end the year on 2 straight losses had to be pretty disappointing. So what is Ryan Day looking at to turn things around for 2024?
Well, now it's, this game was very different than the last game. It was a different situation altogether. We wanted to finish this game and build some momentum in the next year. It didn't happen. The first thing I mentioned in the room was, the guys who are deciding whether they come back or not. Now they got to rally together. And we got to put this team together moving forward. Of guys who are coming back and get finished some unfinished business that's happened here. And I know there's some guys who feel that way.
There were a lot of areas that didn't look great for Ohio State during that Cotton Bowl, but the special teams, it turned into another three-ring circus. Delay game penalty, took some other penalties, fair caught a punt inside their own 5, missed a field goal. What's Ryan Day's takeaway there?
Well, I thought overall early on the whole punting operation, other than the delay game, but there was a funky look there, and we always tell them, hey, if you're not sure, don't snap the ball, and we ended up getting that one off. So, that one there, was okay, but I felt like we were punting with good hang time, and we were covering, and we were flipping the field at times pretty well. So I thought that was well done. But you're right. I mean, we shouldn't catch the ball on the 4-yard line. Our heels should be in the 8. I think he felt like in that moment they were kind of right behind him, and they were gonna pin it inside the 4. But still, you have to stick to your rules in that situation. And then we missed the field goal, and that one was big at the time. It was a little momentum swing, and they get the ball back on the 30-yard line. So. There was some good things there, but not good enough.
And of course, as you may have heard after the game, Jesse Mirko, who was really the bright spot on special teams for Ohio State, he entered the transfer portal. Missouri's punter entered the transfer portal as well. Both punters from the Cotton Bowl in the transfer portal 24 hours after the game ended. That must have been tired from all those punts. Both punters punted 8 times during the game. So, all right, that's enough special teams talk. Let's talk a little bit more about the quarterbacks. Devin Brown obviously did not get a chance to really get going too much. He was injured pretty early in the game. And even before he was injured, he looked kind of shaky. Did not look like the quarterback that we heard about all through bowl practices. So what was the deal there? Was that just some first start jitters? What was going on with Devin Brown?
I felt like he was going to have nerves early on. I thought we were going to be able to play through it and figure out what that looked like going into the second half. He had a little bit of nerves, but you could see the athleticism. You see him break the pocket, almost just missed the throw down the sideline. He missed the screen early on, but I felt like he was going to kind of have to play through that a little bit. And this is his first start, so and then we lose him, and we had a lot of things in the game plan designed for his style of play, and we lost him. That was it was a little bit of a scramble, and we came up short.
Now a question for true freshman Lincoln Kienholz, playing his first meaningful snaps in a game, and he did it on national TV in a New Year's Six bowl game. That had to probably have his head swimming a little bit. Did the game slow down for him at some point during the game?
I mean, it wasn't really that fast, honestly, because I go against the best defense every day in practice. So, I mean, it was pretty good. I think the Mizzou coaches was trying to speed me up, give me some 0 looks. But, I mean, just other than that, I'm pretty sure, it was just like another game. And, I mean, I think, the big thing for me was that, I just got to just slow down and just focus on my mechanics and everything, and just trust my eyes.
Now back to Ryan Day. He was asked to evaluate the quarterback room on the whole for this season.
I think it's hard to say because, we're talking about, a year's worth of play of Kyle. He's not here. I don't think it's fair to me to go back and go through all of that right now. And then this game was very unique. So, bottom line is, we didn't reach our goals this year, and that's everybody. And so, the quarterback room is one of them. And so that's the bottom line. We look at a whole. We didn't get our job done. So if that's what you're looking for an answer, that's kind of what it is. But it's just I'm not going to go through and kind of evaluate Kyle at this point. I don't think that's fair. And then you saw what happened in this game. And again, we got to be able to help him out more. Some of those 0 looks that Lincoln's talking about, we can do a better job with as coaches.
The Ohio State defense was definitely one of the big bright spots for the Buckeyes during the game. And Jack Sawyer with 3 sacks, well, he was one of the bright spots on the bright spot of the defense. So did that performance, 3 sacks against Missouri, impact his thinking at all about potentially putting his name in for the NFL draft?
Honestly, I'm not even really thinking about that right now. I'm just upset about the game. I want to send the seniors out the right way. And when you put so much work into it, it's tough when, you don't get the outcome you want. And I just want to give Lincoln a shout out for just stepping in there and playing with confidence in a tough spot. I thought you fought your ass off, man, and it's not easy, and you went in there and you did the best you could, man. So shout out to you, man.
The Cotton Bowl was supposed to be the first real chance to watch Devin Brown in an extended run, a full game against a Power 5 team, maybe kickstart the evaluation process for the 2024 season. Well, losing him early after he really didn't have a chance to get going, how does that impact the evaluation of that room now moving into 2024?
Yeah, I mean, for Devin, I know he wanted to play in this game worse than anybody, and even after he hurt himself, he wanted to get back in there and actually did it for a series, but it wasn't fair to him. He couldn't move, and he wasn't supposed to be in the game at that point, but he was fighting to get back in there, and he kept a great attitude the whole time. He's a great young man with a great attitude. He's a great teammate. Yeah, I don't have a great answer for that right now because this is not what we were expecting coming out of the game. We didn't have a game to look at and go through and evaluate. We know what we see in practice, but it's certainly different when you play in a game. So disappointed we don't have that. So we'll get back to work and figure that part of it out. But again, I don't have a great answer on that right now because we didn't have a game from Devin.
Now, a reporter took a second swing at the question that got asked earlier but wasn't answered. What was with the offensive line, with Carson Hinsman sitting out, Matt Jones moving from right guard to center, and Enoch Vamahi stepping in at starting right guard?
I don't want to get too much into it, but Carson, was having a tough time the last couple of weeks in practice, and we just felt like at the right time, all right, this was the right thing to do at the time. Was having a few issues there, and so it's not that Carson will never play here again, but based on the last couple weeks of play, the decision was made that Matt gave us the best chance at center.
After Devin Brown went down, Lincoln Kienholz was not the only other option at quarterback. Tristan Gebbia, who they brought in as a transfer from Oregon State, who has started some games in his past, did not play at all this year, but he was available. So when you were faced with the option of throwing a true freshman out there, when you had a veteran on the bench like Tristan Gebbia, did you give any thought to playing him instead?
Well, we felt like Lincoln had been taking all the backup reps, and moving forward in the future, felt like this was the best thing. And Lincoln also gave us a chance a little bit with some of the zone read stuff, where that's not really Tristan's game, and the game plan had more of that stuff in it, even more than you saw because it was more of that's what Devin can do, and we felt like Lincoln could at least do those type of things as opposed to Tristan. That's not really his style of game, so we felt like the right thing to do was to have Lincoln in there.
This next one is one of the more leading questions you're going to hear from a reporter, but Brian Day was asked, would he like to see things change where maybe opt-outs or transfers don't have such a big impact on a team that's out there for the bowl game?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope there's something because, this you have key pieces missing, and it's just not the same team that you played with a month ago. But not that that's an excuse. It's just the way it is, and we got to go win the game. But yeah, I feel like absolutely, that, and I think maybe with the playoff that'll change things as well.
Well, after the Ohio State offense really carried the defense for the 2020 and 2021 and even 2022 seasons, this year the defense was really kind of carrying the offense at times. So after a somewhat disappointing season on the offensive side of the ball, is Ryan Day looking at his offensive staff and maybe even potentially making some changes before next year?
Yeah, we're going to look at everything. Yeah. Ultimately, like you said, game. I mean, this is an example of a game. Like nobody cares that you have a freshman quarterback in there. You got to go win the game, and it didn't happen. So, like I said before, everything's going to get looked at, and if it's what helps Ohio State go reach our goals and win these games, then we'll make those changes. So, got to really evaluate it the right way and make sure I'm doing it the right way, and do what's appropriate, what's best for the program.
And finally, let's hear from Jack Sawyer one more time. How does this game maybe impact Jack Sawyer's decision on next season?
I think a lot of us all are on the same page about, we don't want to end our Ohio State careers like this with two tough losses. We all love it here. We love Coach Day. We love the staff. And, sometimes, unfortunate things happen and you don't get the outcome you want. And I think it's going to play a big decision and a big factor in our decisions.
Well, I wanted to thank you all for sticking with us through a very eventful, very busy 2023 Ohio State football season. We are now turning the page to 2024. Quite literally, Happy New Year, everyone. It's going to be a very busy and very eventful offseason as well as we start heading into transfer portal announcements and NFL draft declarations or guys announcing they're going to come back to Ohio State. Then you start getting into winter workouts and then spring ball and then the summer and camps and all that good stuff. And before you know it, fall camp will be here and we'll be counting down the days to the start of the 2024 football season. That Akron game just right around the corner, just a little over 200 days away. We will be counting down those days with you here on Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning all year long. So thank you for sticking with us for 2023. We look forward to seeing you every morning here for 2024. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.